Welcome to Sunday School for Sunday, April 26, 2026. For our junior students, ages 9 to 11, I do not own the rights to this music. Today's Bible basis is coming out of Luke chapter 15, verses 11 through 24. The title of today's story, True Freedom. Henry didn't have a yard, since he and his foster mom lived in an apartment building. He had to walk to the park if he wanted to practice basketball dribbling. One day, he had a better idea. He grabbed his ball from his closet and ran into the kitchen. It had a linoleum floor, so the ball bounced just like on the courts. After a few seconds of dribbling, his foster mom, Mrs. Watson, came in with a stern look that said he'd better listen. "You can't do that in here. It's too small and you'll break something." "Yeah, okay." Henry held the ball still, but he rolled his eyes. As soon as Mrs. Watson went into her sewing room, Henry had the ball in the kitchen again. The sewing machine and TV in her room were loud enough to block the noise. He could practice in the kitchen again. Now this was true freedom, making his own decisions. He bounced and dribbled, threw his leg over the ball, and did a fake free throw shot. But when he jumped for the shot, he lost control of the ball, and it crashed onto the counter, smashed dishes, and landed on the floor. Henry panicked and tried to hide the mess. He would pay for new dishes for Mrs. Watson to make up for it. But before he could even finish cleaning up, she stood in the doorway, hands on her hips, watching him. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Watson. I broke the dishes." He wanted to cry. "I'll buy you new ones." With this, Mrs. Watson walked over to Henry and put her arms around him. "I forgive you, Henry. I'm glad you see that you were wrong." Do you think Henry practiced basketball in the house anymore? What made Mrs. Watson forgive Henry after he disobeyed? When have you decided to disobey and make your own decisions and regretted it? Freedom is an interesting thing. Sometimes when we think we are free, we really are not. Read the story in today's scripture and think about how much freedom this son had. What made him truly free in the end? Luke chapter 15, verses 11 through 19. And this is the King James Version. "And he said, a certain man had 2 sons. And the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that fall to me. And he divided unto them his living. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together, and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine. And he would fain have filled his belly with the husk that the swine did eat, and no man gave unto him. And when he came to himself, he said, How many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants. What does the young man mean when he says he has sinned against his father and heaven? Luke chapter 15, verses 20 through 24. And he arose and came to his father. But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him, and had compassion, and ran, and fell on his neck, and kissed him. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. But the father said to his servants, Bring forth the best robe, and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet, and bring hither the fatted calf, and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For this my son was dead, and is alive again. He was lost, and is found. And they began to be merry. What do you think it means when the father says his son was dead, and has returned to life? What did his father's forgiveness do to him? Did he deserve it? The memory verse, For this my son was dead, and is alive again. He was lost, and is found. And they began to be merry, from Luke 15, verse 24. Henry came home from school on Tuesday, and Mrs. Watson was not home yet. He checked her sewing room, the kitchen, everywhere. When he went back to the living room, he saw his basketball sitting in the corner. Rain pounded the windows, and the park was a long walk anyway. What do you think he did? Did Mrs. Watson's forgiveness mean anything to Henry? And what would you do in this case? Have you received freedom by asking for God's forgiveness? Who do you know who still needs that freedom? This week, pray for someone who is lost and searching, that the person may come home to God, the Father, and ask His forgiveness. Write that person's name on a sheet of paper. The end. God bless you and thank you for joining me today.